Rebuilding a Rustproof Land Rover, Part 8. The time has come when I need some professional help with this rebuild. I drove the Land Rover to a place called Rossmore Garage, which was a bit worrying as the tyres were very perished and cracked. Thankfully, I arrived there safely and the real work began. Rossmore Garage is excellent. The work they do is of the very highest standard, and I use them for servicing, MOT and repairs to my other vehicle. And my other vehicle is 1,000,000 miles away from this thing. I don't know why, but there's something good about old Land Rovers. Driving them is an experience. It's very immersive. At this stage I have to mention that it's quite good fun driving a Land Rover without a roof when the weather is near freezing. I put the side windows on it for a bit of protection, and as it turns out, my memory was jolted. Nothing to do with the cold, it was just that I remembered that the windows I fitted to this Land Rover were military issue, and they're made from aluminium, so therefore they are not rusty. In 1999 it was all part of Build a Rustproof Land Rover, and here is the proof of the pudding. It's not rusty at all. The only parts that went rusty were the parts that were fitted by my late friend Ken Rowley. Here are the tyres that are going to be fitted to the Land Rover, and Tom, one of the mechanics at Rossmore Garage, actually apologised for them being so expensive, because they are Michelin tyres, but I was really happy about that. We agreed to fit 750 tyres to this one. They're a bit taller and a bit thinner. Previously on this Land Rover, the wheels have always stuck out a little bit, because the axles are from a Land Rover 90. But at least the Michelins will be much better tyres than these are. When I rebuilt this Land Rover way back in 1999, I fitted some nondescript 750 tyres, which seemed to get punctures regularly. They were also on Discovery rims, and I never really liked this at the time. The exhaust system that I fitted when I rebuilt this Land Rover was from a company called Britpart, and I must admit that what they make and supply does actually vary considerably in quality. It's now time to elevate the Land Rover so the exhaust can be fitted. This job was a bit of a pain, nothing to do with the exhaust. It was the studs. Where the nuts were, they just snapped off completely. So Tom had to remove the main exhaust manifold from the engine, and that came away quite easily. The exhaust pipe fitted to the engine was possibly the worst exhaust system I've ever seen. It was made from bits and pieces. My friend Ken Rowley used to rebuild British motorcycles, and that's what the exhaust silencer is on this Land Rover. It's from a motorcycle, with a flexible connection at the front that is completely rotten and full of holes. What Tom's doing at the moment is a pre-MOT inspection, and he said, well, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. The bolts were a bit loose on the front part of the prop shaft, and the Land Rover has all the usual leaks. I was a bit concerned about this because over the years I thought to myself, I wonder if there's any oil left in the gearbox and the differentials. It's a very common fault on these old series Land Rovers for the gearbox oil seal to fail where it goes into the handbrake drum, and here is a clear sign of some dripping going on from that area. Tom checked the levels on the gearbox, the transfer box and the differentials, and surprisingly they were all okay. Here Tom is testing the steering, and there's no play in the wheel bearings and not much play in even the ball joints, but I think we'll change them anyway. I fitted military gaiters to the swivels, and hopefully they shouldn't be rusty. I can't believe the condition of this thing to say that it's not been looked after, and do bear in mind a lot of these parts are from 1971, although most of the suspension was refitted in 1999. I really disliked the drum brakes. I had big problems with them on my other Land Rover. That's why I bought an 88-inch galvanised chassis to take coil-sprung suspension and disc brakes all round. Miraculously, the discs are actually serviceable, but they do need new pads, which is no big deal. And on one side at the front is a bad oil leak which coats the discs with oil. These are the wheels I'm going to fit to this Land Rover, for the simple reason they're not quite as wide as the others. Here are the wheels and tyres that were on the Land Rover when I recently bought it from the estate of my late friend Ken. Here I'm checking the freewheeling hubs and they seem to rotate, although one of them is not engaging with the differential. I need to look into that. In this image, the original tyres don't look too bad, but if you look closely, they are diabolical. This is the machine, of course, for fitting and removing tyres. While I was near it, I thought I'd have a quick look at the quality toolboxes and the quality tools. In the mid-90s, I bought a socket set from Halfords, which was the professional series, and to be fair, it was very good, but possibly not quite as good as these. This box contains all of the exhaust fittings, and Tom, in his usual meticulous manner, fitted the exhaust system perfectly. And like a true engineer, he didn't fully tighten any of the bolts until the exhaust system was fully fitted. I do that because if you start to tighten as you go, things don't line up and it's a problem. I know this is not a steam engine, but to me it's the next best thing. Tom removed the old exhaust supports, which were heavily modified to support the incredibly rusty motorcycle exhaust that had been fitted. The dent in the silencer was nothing to do with us. It was originally wrapped in brown paper, and when we removed the brown paper, here is the dent. The Land Rover is going to need some new bushes, not all of them, but I'm going to ask Tom to change them because I've rebooked the Land Rover in for another day when this job can be done. Here's a shot of the outside of the building, and here, of course, is the website address. I really recommend this garage. It's in a place called Storewood, which is near York. This is the bay where the Land Rover is up on the ramp. And here is just what I wanted. The Land Rover rim, with a 750 tyre fitted to it, does not stick out past the wheel arch. Now, I know a lot of people like the wheels to stick out. I'm not going to be doing any serious off-roading, so I don't need the wheels to stick out beyond the wings. And the aftermarket spats that fit on the wings look absolutely terrible. Okay on a Defender, but not so good on an old series Land Rover. In the last clip you could see how rotten the doors are. I'm changing both doors for new ones. But that's it for now. Hypothermia and my plantar fasciitis has set in and I'm struggling to walk. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.